Hey guys, it's me, Cass. I am starting a project today. I need to clean and reorganize these bookshelves. I would like to do a bookshelf tour at the end of this video, so I need this to look beautiful and amazing. I don't know if you can see, I have a stack of books on this little like footstool here that I've acquired in the past couple months. I went to a library sale, I went to half-priced books, I placed an order on Blackwell's, and then I did a lot of damage during Indie Bookstore Day at the end of April, and all of those books have just been like sitting and I would like them to go on my shelves, but I don't think that they're gonna fit on my TBR shelf, which is this one here, with the way that it's currently set up. So we have to do some rearranging. Ideally, I would get rid of some books today, but that's not really my main goal here. It would definitely help with the space that I have. But I'm not going into this with the mindset of like needing to do an unhaul. So yeah, I'm gonna give you guys kind of like an overview just really quickly of how I have things set up right now. And then I think, and I hate to say this because it's gonna make it into a much bigger thing, but I think I want to take all of the books off of the shelves and like wipe down the shelves because I've lived here for over a year and it needs done. I'm not very good about keeping up with that just because all of the dust is behind the books. But yeah, I think we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna get all those books back on the shelves, and then we'll do like an in-depth tour of the shelves so you guys can see what I have on there. So this shelf on the left here are all of my books that I've read already for the most part. We have a couple exceptions. The two Rachel Cusks at the top of that stack I haven't gotten to yet. I've got the bookmark jar mug thing. I haven't read the top 3 of these vintage editions, and then I haven't read the majority of these New York Review of Books. I think I've read the bottom 4 so far. And then I also have that big stack of manga lying horizontally that I haven't gotten to yet. I'm not super worried about this shelf. I think I'm gonna take off that vase. There's just some like fake, I don't know if you want to call those flowers in there. But I think if I take that off, it'll free up enough room for me. I think I only have like 2 books that need to be fit onto the shelf right now, so that'll be fine. Real ones know that this is where I filmed my first couple videos, but I stopped sitting here just because the lighting isn't great. Now I sit in front of this window. But we come over here to the cart. Don't look at these. These are for my next video, planning out my summer TBR. These books down here are ones that I picked out at the beginning of the year as like my 2024 kind of, I don't know, like priority list, like books that I want to get to before the end of the year. And then down here I have some books that I'm borrowing from friends. This is the stack that we're reckoning with today. These 2 Deborah Levy's at the top I've read already, but everything else I have not. So we're gonna have to find a way to fit those on this shelf. But yeah, I've talked about most of these books or like posted about them either in videos or like on Instagram in my community tab. I'm very excited for all of them, but they need to go on the shelf. So then we come to this, which is my TBR shelf. All of the books on here I have not read yet, which is kind of terrible. But, you know, there are worse things that I could be spending my money on. So up here we have short stories, poetry, like diaries, and then some essay collections, but that shelf is like not complete. Like there's essay collections and like other things mixed in with the rest of these books. So I think I'm going to just like incorporate that top shelf alphabetically into the rest of everything because I am an alphabetical by author last name book organizer. No hate to anyone that does it differently, but that's just what makes the most sense for me. And yeah, I'm just not good at like keeping up with separating out these other like forms. So we're just gonna add them all into the rest of this. And I think that that'll help to free up some space too, because I've got like, I don't really know why I just have two lying horizontally there. Like that's taking up so much more room than it would if they were standing up. So yeah, that is what my little reading corner looks like. I also have on my TV stand here, these are all of the books that I physically own that I've read so far in 2024, which I've read 35 books this year, and so many of them have been digital or from the library. Like, that is such a small fraction of all of the books that I've read. So I'm just keeping them here for now, and then we've got some potentially upcoming reads and some stuff that I have checked out from the library that I just like to keep separate from everything else. So I think that that'll stay as is. I'm not too worried about that. I think that that makes sense to have it like that. So all right, red bookshelf is all cleaned and organized. That was not too difficult of a task. This one is going to be the difficult task, so wish me luck. Okay, I literally don't know if you could see what I was doing there, but I just alphabetized all of the new books and the short stories and essays and poetry from the top shelf. And then since all of the rest of this is already in alphabetical order, I think I'll just have to go in and like slot those in as we go. Hopefully doing that made it easier for me, question mark. We shall see. All right, all of my unread books are here. They are all alphabetized. No distinctions by form here except for this stack. These are all ARCs or things that have been sent to me by publishers, so I just like to keep those separate. But yeah, honestly, this is gonna be so crazy to say. I feel like it doesn't look that bad whenever they're just like in 2 rows on the floor. I think it looks a lot worse, or like a lot more books when they're on the shelves. But I'm like, oh, that's not bad. I can read all this. Alright guys, I did it. Shockingly, they all fit on here. There's a tiny little bit of wiggle room, but I don't think that I'm gonna let myself purchase any more books until me and my friends are going to Chicago at the end of June, and we definitely plan on hitting up some bookstores there. So if you guys have any Chicago bookstore or restaurant or any other fun thing recommendations, please let me know. But yeah, we're not purchasing any more books until then. But I think this is gonna be good. It's like I moved the salt lamp down a shelf so that I like remember to turn it on more. And I feel like adding in the new books and not splitting them up by genre, it's like just different enough for me that I feel like I'll be more inclined to pick things up off of the shelf on a whim. Like it looks different now, and I think that that'll be good to kind of get me inspired to read some of these. And then I just pulled 4 books that I'm gonna sell to half price books. They'll probably give me 2 pennies for them, but yeah, that was all that I wanted to do, just to make this a little bit more manageable. And I've also decided that my Great Expectations box is going to hold ARCs. I have, I think, 2 ARCs in there that I received finished copies of as well. So like I'll keep the finished copies out on my shelves, and then the advanced copies will go in there. And then funnily enough, on Indie Bookstore Day, one of the bookstores that I went to was giving away like mystery ARCs, and I don't remember if I don't think that I talked about this yet. It was really hilarious. I picked up the one that said like biography, art, like feminism or something like that. And I went into my car and I opened it up, and it was an ARC of Splinters by Leslie Jamison, which I already own and have read. So I put that in that box as well, with like the wrapper that had the the description written out on it, because I was like, wow, I know my taste very well. But yeah, I'm gonna take a little Animal Crossing and lunch break. I think I'm back on my Animal Crossing bullshit, but after that we will take a look at these close up, and you guys can tell me what I need to prioritize. All right, we're gonna start with the red shelf first. Like I said, these are in alphabetical order. So first up, we have They Can't Kill Us Until They Kill Us by Hanif Abdurraqib, which I've talked about at length. It was one of my favorite nonfiction books last year. Then we move into Dogs of Summer, which was okay for me. Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead and The Idiot are 2 favorites. Either or, I didn't enjoy as much, but still fine. Pond by Claire Louise Bennett was a great one. A Life of One's Own by Joanna Biggs, and Too Much and Not the Mood by Durga Bose were also 2 favorites from last year. This Linda Bostrom-Knausgaard October Child I think is super underrated. Definitely recommend. It talks about motherhood and mental illness. It was a really good one. Indelicacy by Amina Kane's another favorite. Perks of Being a Wallflower is a classic from my teenage years. I think Inferno and Seeing Ghosts are two quite underrated memoirs. Then we've got the Rachel Cusk stack. Really upsetting to me that that edition of In the Fold is like blue toned. It's slightly shorter than the rest of them. I think it's because it's a Faber edition and the others are Picador, but it's not out in the Picador series, so I don't know. And we've got the Simone de Beauvoir collection. I am really into, let's see if I can do this. I'm really into these like mass market paperbacks. These ones have some nudity on the cover, so I won't pull out the other one, but yeah, been collecting her books in those editions. I have a couple others on my TBR shelf. Then we move into the Joan Didions and the Tove Ditlevsen. The Copenhagen trilogy is a really wonderful series. Annie Ernaux. These Allison S. patches are two of my favorite books. I think that she is a super underread author as well. These are her only two novels. Notes on Your Sudden Disappearance came out, was it last year or 2 years ago? But I don't really see anyone talk about her, and I really enjoyed both of her books. Then we came to the end as kind of a different one for me. It's like an office comedy. I really enjoyed it. As someone that works in like a traditional office setting, I thought it was really funny. Natalia Ginsburg there, The Dry Heart's a really good one. We have Transcendent Kingdom, which I really loved, but I wish I had purchased the hardback. I don't like this cover as much as like the pink and black hardcover edition. The Stillest Day by Josephine Hart, that's a Benjamin Journal recommendation. Single Carefree Mellow by Catherine Haney is one of my favorite short story collections, if not my favorite. I'm not a big short story person, but I really enjoyed that one. What else do we got here? Breasts and Eggs by Miko Kawakami. I feel like that would be one that would be great for me to reread as well. I really enjoyed it when I read it the first time around, but I feel like now that I'm, you know, further into my reading journey, I could really get more out of it. Arrangements in Blue by Amy Key is another really underrated like memoir. And then we've got this mass market paperback of The Golden Notebook by Doris Lessing that I got from Bloomhouse Books. My Deborah Levy and Clarice Lispector sections here. Two of my favorite authors. I have this collection of these like vintage paperbacks. There's a really cool edition of My Year of Rest and Relaxation with that blue spine that I really love. We have the Bookmark Jar. My Tessa Mosh figs. My friend Jen has my copy of Lapvona, so that's why that one's missing. Nobody, Somebody, Anybody is also like a really, I think, underrated book that I haven't seen too many people talk about. I thought that it was really funny and like DWM vibes, but with a lot of humor. We've got some Toni Morrison. My copy of Beloved I read this year, so it's over on my other little TV stand shelf. The Guest Lecture, one of my favorite novels from last year. Where Are Your Boys Tonight? Talking about emo music, so we love that. And we've got Sally Rooney. My sister is holding my copy of Beautiful World, Where Are You? Hostage. And my dog chewed on the bottom corner of Conversations with Friends. What else do we have? Journal of a Solitude by May Sarton. That was another favorite from last year. We have the Seasonal Quartet from Allie Smith. My friend Lily got me this beautiful edition of spring with like the half dust jacket. Some Patti Smith and Zadie Smith, Susan Sontag's first volume of her diaries, which I really loved last year. Astra magazine, which is sadly no longer a thing, but I really enjoyed those two editions that they did come out with. I'm Supposed to Protect You from All This is another really underrated memoir, same with Consent by Vanessa Springora. Sympathy was one of my favorite novels last year. Winter Love by Han Suyin was a really good one that I read back in 2022. We've got the only Miriam Taves that I've read so far. And then we've got the New York Review of Books stack here. I've read Three Summers by Margarita Liberace, Eve Babbitt's Eve's Hollywood, Family Lexicon by Natalia Ginsburg, and Notes of a Crocodile. I tried to read Lies and Sorcery. I actually still have my bookmark in there, but I put it down for the time being. It was just like too long and too much for me to get into at the beginning of this year. And then, yeah, all the ones above that I haven't read yet. I really enjoy collecting these, but I just haven't read too many of them. Then down on this bottom shelf here, we've got two Fallout Boy books, which we love. Written on the Body is my favorite Jeanette Winterson that I've read so far. That would be a really great one to reread. Two copies of Orlando by Virginia Woolf because I absolutely loved that one. Crying in H Mart is one of my all-time fave memoirs as well. And then this is like a journal that I got that I was going to use as kind of like a commonplace book and like write down quotes from the books that I read, but I wanted to like go back through books that I had read previously and like write down quotes in there, and it just became too overwhelming of a task to like go back through the archives and write everything out, so I kind of abandoned that, but I leave it on the shelf in hopes that one day I'll return to it. We've got a little Chicago snow globe that my sister got for me, and then this geode bookend that I got on Etsy. We have the manga that I've read thus far. I really loved Orange. I need to read the second volume of it, and then I'm working my way through Nana, which if you look back there, I have a bunch of the rest of the ones in the series, but I'm missing 6 and 7, and then I have 8, so I can't really continue until I pick those up. But that is the red shelf. All right, moving on to the TBR shelf. But before we do that, we have the Maggie Nelson honk sticker from Sunny's book truck that I have on my wall instead of on my car. But yeah, I've got a really big mix of both new and used books. I'm a big half-price books girl, but I also really love, supporting my local bookstores. This I feel like is going to be harder to talk about because I haven't read any of these. We've got some Anne Carson there, which I read one of her books. I think it was The Beauty of the Husband, and I feel like it was a little bit over my head, so I'm curious to see if I enjoy any of her other work a little bit more. I feel like Autobiography of Red is like the main one people go for, so what else do we have? We've got the Hunger Games prequel, which I haven't gotten to. Some more Simone here. Lots of Simone, lots of Didion. This is gonna sustain me for a while with the two of them. I really need to work through more of their books. We have this Annie Dillard that I started to read and then DNF'd for the time being. Some Nora Ephron, which I've been really into her movies recently. Just like the funny, like rom-com vibe, so I'm curious to pick that up. We've got some Annie Ernaux, my salt lamp that I moved down here. Got some Elena Ferrante. I have the second book in the Neapolitan novels on my little cart for my summer TBR. And then I've got the last two here. I read the first one last summer, so some more Jonathan Franzen and Natalia Ginsburg. Some Sheila Heti. I love this cover of Emergency by Daisy Hildyard. I think that's so cute. Then we've got some Heidi Julavitz, who I listened to her book The Folded Clock on audio last summer. I'm not a big audiobook person, so it like wasn't my favorite reading experience, but I think that I'll enjoy this one a bit more. I think it's about motherhood. I've got some more Karl Ove Knausgaard. I read his book Spring, which I think was published right before summer. I don't know if I'm gonna like read all of his books in that little like seasonal series or not, but Spring went along with that book October Child that I talked about on the last bookshelf. It was kind of his side of the story because him and Linda were married. Some Olivia Lang, Catherine Lacey. I really enjoyed Pew by her. I don't have a copy of it. I thought Biography of X was okay, but I've got the answers here. Some more Clarice Lispector. I have Near the Wild Heart on my like pile of books for 2024 that I said I wanted to get to. And I just recently put The Passion According to GH back on the shelf after like 60 pages. Really excited for this The World According to Joan Didion. Kieran was talking about it in a video at some point in the past couple months. I think it like talks about the different like symbols and themes that come up in Didion's work a lot, and I thought that it would be helpful to pick up before I get into more of her work. Got The Bluest Eye, which is going to be my next Morrison. Some Iris Murdoch, who Literary Iggy was just talking about, and kind of reminded me that I have her on my shelf and I haven't read her yet. I have read her biography that was written by her husband. Some Marie Ndiaye, some Maggie Nelson that is very intimidating to me that I haven't read yet. A Nice Nin. I've been meaning to pick up her diary for a really long time. Got some Jenny Awful on the end there, which I would like to pick her up after hearing Lauren Elkin talk about her in Art Monsters. I think she quoted from her book, The Department of Speculation, but I have Weather. Some Sylvia Plath. I've read The Bell Jar. I haven't read any of her poetry yet. But moving Ariel from the like top section of like poetry that I had set aside down here made me like remember that I have it, so that's good. Mating by Norman Rush. I feel like I've seen some like mixed opinions on this. I feel like people either really love it or don't get along with it. The Life of the Mind, I think was a early Jalen recommendation from the bar in the bookcase, if I remember correctly. The Susan Sontag on women that I started to read in the winter and then put down. The Right to Sex I've been saying that I'm going to read, but I haven't yet. I've never seen Fleabag, but I have the scripts of it for some reason. Sounded intriguing to me. Haven't gotten to them yet. Some more Jeanette Winterson. And then down on the bottom here we've got Virginia Woolf. And I have To the Lighthouse in my pile of books for like 2024 in general, TBR. This is my box from the Great Expectations PR package that has some arcs in it that I have like finished copies of. And then these are books that have been sent to me from publishers. So I kind of have those just like separated out so that I remember to get to them and so that I can work my way through them. I think, yeah, all of these, most of these are from either Hogarth or Random House. Shout out to Jalen for sending those over. And then we've got my Syngonium that I think kind of hates me. It used to be a lot bigger, and then like all of the outer leaves kind of dried up and I had to pull them off. I don't know if it's happy here, but yeah, that is the TBR shelf. All right, that is going to be it for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed seeing this collection here. I counted them. I have 364 books between these two shelves and then on that cart, which I will be talking about these in my next video, and I already talked about these in my like beginning of the year book chat. And then I have the books that I've read physically so far this year over on my TV stand, which I already kind of showed earlier. But yeah, 364 books. I need to stop purchasing so many, but yeah, we got them all to fit, and I think that that is the important thing. So yeah, if you guys have any suggestions for things that I have on my TBR shelf that you think that I should pick up sooner rather than later, please let me know. I feel like it's one of those things that like I see them all the time since they're in my home, and I feel like I just needed to like shake things up so that I could like look at things with fresh eyes and really see what I have. So yeah, definitely a lot on there that I need to get to, but let me know what you've read from there. Hopefully you got some ideas from the things that I talked about on the shelf of books that I've read. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!